Hello, disc golf fans. Welcome to the Grip Equipment Kansas City Wide Open, presented by Dynamic Discs. We're with Central Coast Disc Golf, bringing you round one, front nine of the FPO division. I'm Handley, and I'm joined by local Allie Smith.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, tell us about this course, Allie.
It's my home course here in Liberty, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. We're looking for big bomber shots, but also some tight wooded finesse shots as well. It's going to be a good, well-rounded course for everybody.
Yeah, getting to throw some slower discs, maybe some shots we don't normally see on the tour. But let's kick things off with hole one.
Hole one, we've got a big downhill par 4, 575 feet. You see we've got OB tall grass, but this is a safe path here. Players are looking right-hand, backhand to hyzer somewhere before this out-of-bounds pond, where they will then be able to chip across this lake pond to a very tough green. All these rocks you see are out of bounds, so you've got about 15 feet from the basket to that out of bounds. And looking to make it across here for hopefully a putt for birdie.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to hole one.
On today's card we have Handley. Looks like first up we have Finley.
Yes, Holly Finley. She'll kick things off for us.
From Bell Buckle, Tennessee, Holly Finley.
We've got a little bit of a tailwind on this hole, which should be helpful.
Right, it should definitely be helpful. Maybe more a right to left. Looks like she's aiming up a driver here. I'm going to say she's going to try and land short of the water, but in front of these trees. That is key for placement here. Oh great, she's over by the short placement actually, and is not going to contend with a low ceiling too much.
Yeah, there's kind of that almost Christmas tree looking thing off on the left side, and that's a good land marker if you can get just on the other side of that. That's that short landing zone you were talking about. So we got Carey up next.
Nice straight drive, finishing to the left.
Got really good trust out to the right side so she doesn't have to contend with those trees.
Third on the box, representing Discmania.
We got our other local, Casey Pennington.
Casey Pennington is local to Kansas City. She's moved here recently. She's put in a lot of time and effort volunteering to get the Kansas City Wide Open and the Bad Rock Creek looking like it is.
It's got to be a cool feeling getting to tee off a Pro Tour event at a course you helped develop. And she does another just beautiful drive off to the left side.
And last up we have Handley.
Hey, commentator on the card today.
You'll be talking about yourself a lot.
Yeah, it's always a little weird, but I'm gonna do my best.
What's your play here? Are you
I'm trying to go a little bit bigger. I'm trying to get past that group of trees where we saw everybody else landing. It just opens up a little bit, and I've got the distance to do it, so I really want to trust this one.
You opened it up. You are definitely fighting over the water there.
Yeah, I kind of got a little tournament arm there. I ended up letting the disc kind of stand up to flat a little bit more than I wanted to, and so I find that OB in water.
You really powered through it. So we're going to go to the drop zone. Any OB off the tee does go to this drop zone.
Yeah, which I didn't actually know until I threw it OB. So today I learned.
You did not practice this drop zone shot. So then.
Yeah, as you can tell, I leave it well left, but safe, and I'll have a putt to save my par.
Casey Pennington making her second shot. You can see there's no trees in her line of sight at all, so a beautiful drive off.
She found one, though. Yeah, she just kisses that tree just short left, and it does roll back into the water, unfortunately.
And with the right to left kind of tailwind, you're seeing these discs hyzer out with the right hand, backhand. That is safe, though, for Holly. She'll be able to have a look at the basket.
Yeah, do you feel like starting with a green like this, is it a little scarier than if maybe you did it later in the round?
I think so. I think we're more enticed to kind of throw it long like we see Deanne and Holly do here. Deanne, although, looks like she may be in the circle.
I was very happy that this was floating when I got down there. That is a pretty flippy force, which those are hard to find. So I was really happy to get this one back.
This is a replay of last year's Kansas City Wide Open with Andrew Marweed and Bradley Williams. They had to do a similar thing right here
Really?
to retrieve a disc.
And Holly, scary death putt to start out here, and she wants no part of it.
That's wise. That's a wise pitch up there. Nice
Yeah.
par.
Hard to tell, but there is a little tickle of a breeze, so she was putting into a bit of a headwind.
Wow, what a par save from Holland there.
Yeah, I didn't want to start off with a bogey.
Oh my gosh. See, circle 2?
It's edge of circle. But yeah, feels really good to start with a nice confidence builder putt. And then Casey's just a step inside a circle, but a little bit more uphill.
She fully commits to that putt though, because that water is away, but it is sloping away from the basket there. So see her have a comeback. Here's Deanne's birdie look.
Putt.
Way to go! Right in the basket, no fear of the water behind.
Yeah, really great first putt. I mean, if she misses that with that nose up spin putt, that is going in the water.
Oh, not too much left here for Casey. And there it is. She makes her putt good for bogey. And we've got Holly tapping in her par, I do believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a bad way to start hole 1. It is a kind of a scary, tough hole to begin with. And we have hole 2 here.
Yeah, so hole 2, it's kind of this keyhole island, but it's not really an island. So actually all of this area outside of the rock plays as a hazard. So you'll play it where it lies, but you'll take a penalty stroke. What do you think of using hazard instead of OB for island greens like this?
I like it, but I think there is a lot of rough on the left and the right, short of those 2 telephone poles, like that act as a double mando. They're not a double mando. So if you're in there with a hazard stroke, that can make saving a bogey very, very difficult.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like it as a concept, though, because then, you know, if you throw a pretty good shot that trickles OB versus a really bad shot that goes OB, the punishment scales with how bad the shot was.
Right.
So if you're just a little out of bounds on this hole, you can still save your par, but if you're way out of bounds, you're looking at a 4, and I kind of like that.
I agree. And it is one of the shorter holes that we have on tour, and so you can see there Holly is trickled outside of those rocks and finds herself in the hazard, but still a putt to save par. And Holland is going forehand. I like the play.
Don't like the execution. Yeah, I'm going for a big stall shot over the left side. I just didn't get that over left enough, so I'll be off in the hazard about circle 2's edge. One of those shots that I just don't think's tournament ready yet. But
Okay.
we'll see.
And Casey puts one right up the middle. We've lost the blue disc. Oh, and it gets an unfortunate skip off the rocks.
Yeah, she kind of juiced that one. Looks like there might be a little bit of a crosswind.
You can see a difficult uphill putt for Holland. And she leaves it up on the hill, though, so that should be a tap in.
Yeah, I didn't really want to give that a full bid. That's not exactly my comfort range, so.
And Deanne here is safe. I believe there is a second section of rocks behind her that is the line for the hazard. So that'll pitch up for par. Oh, and so close for Casey's par save there. Good effort, good bid. There's the bogey tap in from Holland. And a par from Deanne.
Yep, and then Holly Finley was in the hazard as well and just pitched up for her.
And there's Casey's bogey as well. We'll be moving on to hole 3 now. Hole 3, we have a par par 4. You gotta throw a technical shot off the tee. And there is kind of two gaps. You can see a top left or just a straight gap. Really, players are looking to get anywhere into this open space where we will turn left and make a dogleg left, climbing towards this electrical wires in a very tight OB. We've got a lot of OB to contend with, tall grass.
And the drone's actually showing us the MPO pin, so the basket that was off to the right that we already passed, that will be the FPO basket.
There is a Mando left, that shouldn't, or Mando right, I'm sorry. That shouldn't be in play out of that, though.
And she just catches a little twiggy branch, but she's out of the gap. She could actually still go for the birdie potentially from where she is.
You can see Holly is aiming towards that upper left gap. It makes the hole a lot shorter, actually, if you get the disc to pop through it. Unfortunately, she is denied by that tree there.
Yeah, missing that gap inside does make your second shot for par a little bit more difficult. You can kick left a little bit deeper into the rough. We see I pull it kind of wide and find those right trees and kick straight down.
But it looks like everyone here is throwing a slower disc or maybe a fairway driver, and so not too much ricocheting going off of those trees, just kind of shooting downwards. Casey gets out there pretty well.
Yeah, it looked like she might have missed her line just a little bit, but it snuck through.
Holly's going to pitch up to the opening and should have a clear look to the basket now. Holland following suit. What can be kind of difficult about this hole is that we're going to be throwing a 250, 300 foot shot with a ground that you may not be secure with. The footing is not always flat. You may not know how it's going to really feel. And trying to throw that full power shot with a lot of out of bounds is scary. Casey puts a full commitment into that shot, and she is safe. Got a green flag.
See Holly, this looks nice and wide and has really good height.
Beautiful, drops it right in the circle as well. You are fighting a right to left slope of the ground, so the forehand here I do like the play. It also stays over the out of bounds longer.
Yeah, that crosswind just got me a little bit. It was a weird distance, you know. It's not a full shot, but it's not a standstill. I think I just got a little soft on it on a snap.
We will be able to advance a little bit as you took that left avenue.
And then Deanne makes the same mistake, but on the backhand line. Finds that OB right side. You can see the wind's moving my hair a little bit, so it is a little breezy out here.
Sure is. And a good stick up.
Yeah, threw the shot I should have thrown the first time. And we got up into the circle for a bogey. Excuse me, a double bogey.
The pitch up, yes.
Yes, and then Deanne's going to try that same shot again. And finds the OB again. Yeah. But she did cross inbounds this time, so she will get to putt her next shot.
Forward. Nice, that's good.
Casey for birdie.
Just off the top.
She's missed the last one's a little bit high, but I like the confidence.
Confidence early.
You know, it's better to. I always say it's a little better to miss high than low because at least you're giving it a chance.
Okay, that's it. Got Holly here to save par. Nice. Great confident putt. There you go, Holly.
Yeah, Holly's little nose down spin putt, great for putting into a headwind like this.
And there is Deanne with her putt.
Yeah, unfortunate to take triple bogey there with the double OB, but it happens quick. This is definitely the kind of course where if you're throwing well, it looks very easy, but it does have some teeth.
It sure does. And a lot of elements to contend with. Wind, the elevation, tight shots. Holland lining this one up, taking her time.
I don't want to leave anything to chance there. We're already putting for double.
and an uphill and kind of in a headwind, so can't take anything for granted. It was a beautiful day, beautiful weather today. After 3 holes, got Allie Smith 2 down. Vanessa Bacon 1 down.
Trilogy Challenge is back, y'all. You get 3 discs,
The Retro Orbit Pure,
Tournament Ice Orbit Warship,
Fusion, Ice, Orbit, Vandal. Are you ready to hit the course with these 3 discs?
and go check out trilogychallenge.com.
Hole 4. We've got another par 4. We're going from this first tee pad that we see. We've got a slope from left to right, and you're going around this large tree that's about, let's say, 300 feet down the fairway, maybe 350. We're flying down this left gap first, and we'll be pitching down into this ravine, perhaps, with a large guardian tree. And you can see that the green here is severely sloping down from left to right. There is another right side gap that you can take because of the way the tee shot is shaped. Gravity and the wind can really draw you to the right side. We'll see what these players can do.
Yeah, Holly just ripping one straight at that tree, asking it to turn a little bit.
Catches the ground, so she should have some options to go right, left, or straight even. We have cleared out that middle section a lot, actually.
Yeah, I found that during practice, actually. If you just kind of aim at those trees pretty aggressively and you get caught up in them, you actually have a pretty straightforward scramble shot out of there.
Yes. Casey throws a nice hyzer out there. We want to avoid the left side OB, but that wasn't in play at all for Casey. Holland throwing what she has said, her flippier disc, just right at the trees.
Yeah, I figured aim it at the trees. If it pushes a little right, that's great. And it's probably going to punch through.
Punched all the way through. And that's looking, she can probably see the basket from there.
Yeah, Deanne taking that right side line as well.
Throwing it high in the air, though, so she doesn't turn over, because you can quickly turn into the trees to the right, and it's a tough look out to try to even get out.
Yeah, and if you really overturn it, there is an alternate fairway there going to the men's basket position, so you can end up in a really bad spot if you aren't controlling the angle of your disc.
Casey gonna go for a precise turnover. This is looking beautiful. Oh my goodness. That is a tough shot. Low ceiling turnover shot there.
Yeah, I mean, she got the height on that just perfect to also get the ground play to actually stop it by the basket. It's so hard to do. Holly's going from a knee, trying to get it through that little sneaky low grab, and she just snags one of the ceiling branches.
Deanne's going to try to do something similar.
She tags it, but she's down there. She advanced.
Yeah, but look at the basket, you know. A step or two outside of the circle.
Yeah, really scary putt to run. I mean, this is, I feel like the camera doesn't quite do the slope justice. If you run the basket and miss, you're looking at probably a 35-footer. Holly Finley with a forehand.
And it was beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
Great execution there, Holly.
So many more FPO have been putting in work on the forehands, and I love it.
It opens so many more options for you, even a 100-foot forehand.
Yeah, I feel like everyone watched Kristen Tatar just demolish the field last year with that forehand, and everyone went home and worked on it, and I love that.
Growing as a field.
Yeah, and Deanne does run that, and she leaves herself just inside the circle comeback putt.
From Holly's forehand, she's inside the circle. This is just a little left.
Yeah, she's shaking her head. She's not happy with that effort. My forehand came in a little hot. Didn't quite have the speed control that Casey had.
But no problem.
Doesn't matter if you make it.
Commits to that.
Yeah, nice little bounce back after the double bogey.
Yeah, and it gives you confidence going into hole 5. You've got
Holly with a long comebacker, just a step inside the circle. And cans it.
right. Just steps up and Makes those even tougher putts look easy.
Yeah, at least the nice thing about missing the downhill putt is you have an uphill putt coming back, which is a lot less scary, at least in my opinion.
I'd agree with that. Deanne lining her putt up. Just a little low. Fortunate to just sit down, no roll away there.
And Casey, like, God, she got so close. It's so hard to do on this hole.
With a backhand.
With a backhand from, like, the far side of the tree.
Yes.
Really well done by Casey.
Beautiful birdie. Deanne will finish with a bogey and exit out through this new and freshly cut gap. Here we are on hole 5. This is brand new. It's a tough hole. You really have to push this tee shot. You can go forehand, right hand forehand, really a high shot, trying to get over into the right side, just down this alleyway the drone is flying, or a turnover backhand. The higher you can get will leave you closer to this water here, is where we're trying to land for the birdie opportunity, where you will pitch across the water and hopefully have a close putt for a birdie. On my card today, we had a lot of out of position drives, just trying to pitch up from our first shot to save a par.
Yeah, this tee shot really is key because with the water right there in the middle, it's hard to just throw something aggressively, to try and advance up the fairway. You do have to be really careful with your placement if you are out of position.
Casey throws a beautiful shot down the middle. Holland is opting for the power forehand. I love the line. Did she get a kick left?
I got a pretty nasty. I loved that out of my hand. I got a pretty nasty kick. I will say Heiser flip up forehand, not my strength, but I was pretty happy with how that looked.
From even the camera footage, it looked beautiful.
And then Holly laces the line, ends up a little bit left side, but she may have something to work with.
It's tough to get over the water from anywhere in this opening straight. Really got to try to push the gap to the right. See Deanne trying that. She might be a little low on the hill, though, still.
Yeah, I like that line. I kind of think of it as like an insurance line, If you miss a little right, maybe you'll get lucky. And I was a little low with that zone shot there. I get to the middle of the hill, but I don't really have the best line.
You can see the rough is quite rough. Holland had to contend with there. And we see a pitch up from Deanne trying to just get in position to have a nice footing to throw over the small water.
You see Holly, she's got a driver in her hand.
Oh, and she's got a gap. Wow. Okay, so
she's over in 2.
Beautiful job, Holly. Okay. I think we're seeing a pitch up from Casey. Yep. Just to the base of the water.
Just to put in perspective how difficult this hole played, there was 0% circle 1 in regulation today. And here I decided to go for the Anheuser forehand, but I kind of clipped that branch, didn't get quite enough angle on it, and I'll be about edge of circle 2.
I think a theme of Bad Rock is a lot of low-hanging branches in some different shots. In parts of your throws you wouldn't think, so you see Deanne has to throw a little lower than she wants to because of those low-hanging branches. And she finds the OB water.
Casey going to the forehand, probably a tactic. And beautifully executed.
Parked. Way to go.
So Deanne, I found out today, is very scared of frogs.
Yeah, like definitely. Yeah, hates frogs. Oh, this is. And they're all just jumping in like crazy right now.
Yes, just as soon as she walked down there, about 4 of them hopped in the water.
She's able to overcome those frog scares and puts it near the bullseye.
Look at her face. She hates it. I got a little line here to try and save my par. Just don't give that one the height.
You'll have a comebacker. It's uphill now. You got a backstop.
It's fine. You know, I'm never scared of a comebacker, but you know what's some height. So here's Holly with a birdie putt.
Dead center.
No
Beautiful.
doubt.
Oh my gosh.
So Holly Finley was the only birdie in the entire field today.
Okay, only birdie. I'll be
And
curious.
from circle 2.
Circle 2, okay. I'll be curious if that's maybe on the weekend. That's a tough hole. I think that's the toughest birdie to get here.
It actually played as the 4th most difficult hole.
Okay. And Holland makes a comeback right there. No problem to Deanne. And I think we're left with Casey's tap in par. She had a pitch up from her drive.
Oh, she goes turbo putt. I didn't
turbo
actually notice.
slam.
I didn't actually notice her do that during the round.
Here we are on hole 6. We're going from a short pad here. There is an inside left gap, but we're going to fly the outside right gap. Players are looking to throw something very stable. You can either throw short and be up on the hill to have more of an open look and view at the basket, or something very stable that's going to get you down into the gully here. But that does make your shot up the hill much more difficult. It is only 470 feet for a par 4. But the shape of the hole makes it more difficult. There is OB behind the basket. I don't know that it'll come into play. Maybe I speak that into fruition. Looks like Holly is lining up the inside left gap.
Yeah, I had no idea this left gap existed until I saw Holly go for it.
It's tough. I personally, I've thrown it like once or twice, and I made it through, but it's tough. Tough to execute.
The right side. I can see how, if you want to go more for a straight line, and you want to take that long rough out of play. And Casey hits it beautifully, and still kind of finds the long side. It's so easy to do.
It is, and that's, I think, because we are playing from this short pad. The long pad left, I think we could have still played. We're going Spike Heiser over it all, Holland Handley.
Yeah, and I got it a little deep, but I hit high enough that it spit me back out right on top of the hill.
Just as if you could have thrown a putter there. We threw a driver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to kind of cheat it a little bit and get down into the gap, as we see Deanne trying to do a similar thing, but going for more of that low line. She actually ends up a little short.
Okay. And you can see now just a wall of trees to contend with. Hope you can hit it.
And she was going for a pretty conservative gap there, going off to the right side.
Mm-hmm. Just that wide hyzer, maybe trying to put too much angle on it.
Now I've got a tight little backhand line, so I'm trying to flex a buzz.
A little buzz in there, yeah. And you're in step. You're at circle's edge. That's amazing.
Yeah, right on the edge. So I was so happy about that.
And that's why I like being up on the hill, because you can actually have that window to the basket.
Do you like sidearm or backhand from that position?
I'm more comfortable with the backhand now.
Really?
But a year ago would have said forehand.
I remember looking at that line and thinking, Allie would throw a flip of forehand here.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought about you a few times today.
That's cool. That's great. I love that.
I think it's cool to watch your friends' home courses where they learn to play, and you can kind of understand why their style of play is what it is.
It makes me feel maybe that I'm well-rounded. I'd like to say.
Well, it explains why you've got a good, flip-up game.
Right.
And why you lean on the sidearm so much. And I'm sure if we went to Huntington Beach, you would see why I do well in park style golf.
Yeah, right. I believe that.
Man. Holly running the basket, really great up and down.
Beautiful. This is a new position as well. It's usually in the stump that you can kind of see we're flying past.
Casey going back to that sidearm.
And that's parked for a birdie, right?
Everybody's got sidearms now. I don't feel special anymore.
Oh. You were silent. I knew something special was close to being there.
That was such a good bid. Oh, and I knew that was low out of my hands.
Just a little low.
Yeah, I think I'm just having trouble getting my legs into it today.
Good legs.
Yeah, I can tell I'm disappointed with the effort there.
I need to activate a little more. Beautiful from Holly.
Really good bogey save. It can be really hard in the woods when you start hitting trees going for gaps. It can be really easy to kind of lose confidence and you start you know, early releasing and such because you're a little timid, but Holly hit that line with so much confidence.
And here is the tap-in birdie from the local Casey.
Yeah, only one other birdie on the day was Leah Sinajini.
Oh, nice, the lefty.
So Casey snagging 2 bonus birdies early. As we're checking out the leaderboard, Allie Smith heating up, 3 down. Currently a 3 strokes in the lead with Casey and Shelby right behind.
Here we have hole 7, also brand new. This is a par 4, 411 feet. It's a pretty open shot off the tee. I think we're just looking to throw something straight. Don't hit any trees. There is a a walking path that lines the fairway here, so OB left and right. With it being a par 4, just keeping it straight and in the middle doesn't even have to necessarily be a distance shot. You can pick up a birdie.
Yeah, this did play as the second easiest hole on the day, so you definitely want to get the 3 here. It almost feels like a par 3.5.
Yes, perfect. You can, yeah, like I said, you can really throw whatever you're comfortable with throwing straight. It's got a beautiful long tee pad. I think it's one of the longest ones on the course.
Yes, it definitely is. I really enjoyed this tee pad. Casey overturns that a little bit, but she is inbounds and she's advanced quite a bit up the fairway. Now, with this being a little bit downhill, I'm going for 2 here.
Holland can definitely get the 2 here. A nice flexing shot, good skip.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're near circle's edge, just inside circle 2.
Yeah, I tagged one little last late tree that I think kept me from scooting up into circle 1, but very happy with that result.
Mm-hmm. Can give it a bid still and feel confident about getting a birdie. You're going kind of big, and there's a little nose up and finds an early tree. Kicks her back into the fairway, it looks like.
Yeah, really fortunate kick. I mean, that's kind of the mistake you don't want to make is either overturning or hitting something early.
I think sometimes with these wide open holes, you can kind of make mistakes if you try too hard.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. I mean, we're playing a short wooded course, and you know, I would consider myself one who likes longer holes. So yeah, I see a hole like this, and I'm definitely licking my chops trying to get all the way down there. And then yeah, can do just like you said, pull it a little bit.
But we see Deanne not do that and throws a beautiful shot clean through the fairway.
And Holly's got a line. It almost feels like you're playing another par 3 from where she's at.
Exactly. Which gives you confidence. There's a nice gap.
She keeps it nice and wide. There's so much more space on the right side of the fairway, and she's parked.
Beautiful. And that's what, like I said, you really kind of feel like you need to get the birdie here. It is a soft par 4.
Casey just early releases. Kind of going for a pretty tight gap, but that was kind of her only option. You know, she's going back to this forehand. Almost would have liked to see her trust the forehand from jump. You know, she's done it so well up until this point.
I agree with you there. Oh, and this is just a wide open look. Not much for like a run. I mean, she doesn't have, it's pretty far out there, but just a pretty easy standard chip up right outside bullseye.
Yeah, I think if you had that shot every single day, you'd be pretty happy about it. And again, yep, just a little low.
A little low. But you didn't go too far, so you should have just a tap-in birdie. Oh, a little high, right? But that one does not stick for Casey. That's an unfortunate one.
Yeah, it stings. That one was her par putt, so she will be taking a bogey, unfortunately. And Deanne with a very easy birdie.
That's a great birdie for Deanne. Let's see if that can get her round.
Yeah, get her round going a
Yeah.
little bit. And Holly with an excellent save for after hitting early.
Great birdie. And we're going to move on to number 8. Hole 8 here is par 3. I feel like we haven't seen one in a little bit. 303 feet. This is a nice gap to hit. You have a low ceiling still. You can see a bent over tree that you've got to get under. But it is a downhill to uphill. So you really have to try to push something as straight as you can while committing to the throw.
Yeah.
You throwing a mid-range though?
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. Trying to get a nice kind of pushing hyzer, doesn't quite stand up all the way. And like you said, with that low ceiling to an uphill, you're almost, at best, just going to have an uphill putt.
Ooh, yeah, just like that. Like a pushing hyzer, that's beautiful. Holland's showing us how to do it with the mid-range. I say I think we're going to see a little bit more fairway drivers, maybe, just to give you that confidence through the gap.
Holly early releases, again, she actually got quite a bit up the fairway, though.
Okay, yes.
There's kind of a sneaky line off to the right side, and she's actually almost all the way out.
This looks great from Deanne.
Deanne followed, basically almost identical to my shot. I think she was going with a fairway.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with hitting the gap is really what you should throw.
Yep. Casey, it looked a little pulled, but she's also out the gap, and she's all the way up into the middle of circle 1.
Great action there. Oh, she is. Oh, she's almost all the way out into the open field here, Holly is.
Yeah, probably about as friendly a kick as you're going to get that early. She hits the tiny gap, and she leaves herself about a circle's edge uphill putt.
And the basket is I've not measured it, but it looks a little squat. It looks a little short, like the pole.
Yeah, it is quite a bit uphill though.
Oh, let's go, Deanne. Little jumper.
Slots it in the left side.
Following suit, there it is.
Yeah.
Birdie.
Got the legs in on that one. Sometimes I feel like having someone putt from further out is like a little extra motivation to make
Reverse big putt. Yeah.
Exactly. Turned to T and I was like, couldn't let you big putt me.
Nope, never.
And Holly, unfortunately, doesn't make good on her par save. Casey looking to bounce back after the bogey on the prior hole.
Moving stick out of her lie. She likes to go to the straddle sometimes. I think actually most of the time now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I think she's been straddling so far this round.
Yeah.
Just leave that
Low.
low.
And she knew it immediately. And there it is, engaging those legs like Holland's been saying earlier.
Yeah, it looks like she's doing kind of what I was doing, where if you find yourself going a little fast, you're probably not using enough legs.
And cleaning up here. We're taking a hike over to hole 9. You gotta go up and down this hill. Hole 9, we see these non-Mando, but the telephone poles come into play once again. We're hitting this pure straight gap, 268 feet. There's a little rock wall. And again, we have another low ceiling to contend with. So you're really trying to punch something through this straight gap. The basket's a little bit to the right, but you have to get up this hill. It's maybe a 5 or 6 foot hill that you're climbing to try to get out here and give yourself a putt for birdie.
You know, it just occurred to me, those telephone poles are a little reminiscent of the USDGC mozzarella sticks.
You're right.
Yeah, so do you prefer telephone poles or mozzarella sticks? I got so sneaky on this one.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, with a little like a force over.
Is the same
Flex.
disc I threw on the last hole, just a little bit less of a Buzz SS.
Okay.
And then Deanne also pushes that ceiling.
Follow suit. Wow, you guys
Yeah, she hit the line that you're supposed to hit.
cured the gap.
And she's back there, you know, giving me a little flack for it. Casey, really good angle, just pulled a little right, and that was a pretty mean kick.
Mean kick. I feel that we some of the people are having to disc up to try to punch it through, so we're going maybe fairway driver, and with that sharp edge, you're gonna get a rough kick.
Yeah, that grass up there is super grabby, so even if you do kind of get that sharper edge disc up there, I feel like you don't get that forward skip.
Right.
You kind of have to, if you want to park it you have to play with that ceiling, but you have to almost just be okay with a long putt, I think, on this hole. Which I like that. It makes you golf a little bit better.
It sure does.
Ooh, and Kyle with the fast feet.
Dodging that one. Bedrock Creek has these trees with some thorns all over them, so that's what you see Casey contending with there, and right in front of Holly, this big tree. Gotta throw this big turning shot. Leaves it a little long.
Yeah, she'll be with another about circle's edge putt, step or two outside of circle. Putt to try and save her par.
Coming back to the forehand again.
Coming back to the forehand, man. Everyone's throwing them now. And throwing them well. Look at that. She kind of gave that a little bid.
Sure did. That forehand's been on point for Casey all day today. Lining up the birdie putt, we've got Deanne. Leaves it a little short, hits the koozie.
Yeah, it is quite a bit uphill. Again, I feel like the camera never does uphill shots justice. And then we got Holly with a bit of a downhill windy putt.
Hits the front of the cage. The wind really did start to pick up later in our round.
It was kind of sporadic, it seemed. It's like you'd expect the wind, and then there would be wind, and then you walk a little bit, and there'd be wind.
Swirly.
Swirly.
Holland having to contend with the microphone, no problem. Takes the birdie. Is that
yeah,
the
they
only
were
birdie?
Announcing Robert Burridge.
Okay.
And I remember that for some reason.
Was that the only birdie on the day? Were you?
That was the only birdie on the card. Was it the only birdie on the day? Check my cheat sheet. It was the only birdie on the day. Hey, look at that.
I thought it was.
You were just setting me up for that one.
Yeah. And Turkey, Holland finishes the front nine with 3 birdies.
Yeah, pretty sloppy way to shoot even on a front nine, if I'm being honest. But hey, that's how it is sometimes.
Start fresh with the back nine. And there's Holly. Putting in the bogey putt. Oh, it's pretty gusty right now, this wind. Dan tapping in a par. Beautiful drive. We'll do it for our front nine.
Yep, that'll wrap it up. We'll do a little quick score check. Got a lot of color on this feature group. A lot of red, a lot of green, unfortunately some purple. But that kind of just is how this course is. If you're hitting your lines, it's easy. If you're not, it's brutal.
Got teeth.
Yeah, it's got some teeth, for sure. Let's take a quick look at our leaderboard. Allie Smith is making it look easy today with 4 down. And then I've managed to fight back to even. We've got a slew of players sitting just at 1 over par, currently in tied at 3rd. Thank you guys for watching. This is Central Coast Disc Golf. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the back nine.